Hello and welcome to ITV News West Country with David and Victoria.
Thank you for joining us. The headlines this Wednesday evening. Thousands descend on Plymouth, where the skies will be lit up once again at the British Firework Championships.
It comes down to the wow factor, and it's always a wow factor, and the bits they really like are the big bangs, so there are usually lots of those in the sky.
Also ahead, the Devon charity supporting parents of premature babies in desperate need of funding.
Plus, we'll meet the bowls players who'll be going for gold at the World Championships in Australia.
Well, they may be some of the bigger ships here, but this is one of the oldest. Join me later in the programme to find out how the Maybe is getting ready to set sail in 2023.
Good evening and welcome to the programme. Thousands of people are descending on Plymouth tonight to watch the British Firework Championships on the Hoe. Taking place over 2 nights, a series of 10-minute displays will bid to impress a panel of judges.
And road closures are already in place across the city as crowds are already beginning to gather to watch the spectacular displays. And amongst them, our reporter Claire Manning, who is live there for us. Claire, of course, we've got to wait till dark, but I imagine anticipation is already building.
Oh yeah, I'm loving the way you built this event up there in that link, you two, and quite rightly so. The British Fireworks Championships is a big deal for Plymouth. It draws thousands of people to the city, and look, have a look, we've got near perfect conditions. There's just a gentle breeze to make sure that the smoke from the fireworks will blow through this evening, and it's dry. And as you can see, even though the fireworks don't start until after dark, there is such a lovely atmosphere here this evening. People already turning up and bagging a good spot. It's so nice to see. But of course, this evening, 3 teams will be competing to be crowned the champion, another 3 tomorrow. A little earlier, I went out and met some of those competitors to see how they're preparing. Chris, I'm going to take a guess. That's a massive firework you're holding there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're absolutely right. It's a 100mm shell. We have a lot of these in the display. And I think a lot of people are under the mistaken impression that in fireworks displays, particularly this type of display, we use a lot of rockets. That's not the case. We use these devices, which are shells. They're loaded into these tubes here, which are mortar tubes. So we load them as follows. They go down to the bottom of the tube, and at some point in the display they will receive an electrical impulse, and that will fire it. It will go up 500 or so feet and burst not once but 8 times. So it's one of our special items in the show.
I love it. I'm going to look for that one tonight.
Okay.
You look like a very relaxed man. Are you? Because this, this is a serious competition.
It is a serious competition, but I'm very confident in the team that we have. And a lot of preparation has been into this display. We've tested the circuits, we're ready well in advance, so I'm as confident as I possibly can be that it will be a good show. But let's wait and see.
Lovely job. Well, good luck, my friend. I'm going to watch you. You're the second display tonight, is that
Third.
right? Third display
Final
tonight.
show.
I'll be watching you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Well, joining me now is Michelle. Now,
Hello.
Michelle from Ofcombe,
Yes.
last year's winner. Come on,
Yes.
Michelle. Which means you can't compete this year.
No.
So why are you here? You sussing out the competition?
No, we come down every year. Since we started doing fireworks, we've always come down and supported the event. It's a great event for Plymouth, and it's an amazing event for the industry. So yeah, it's great to just come down and support all of our fellow pyrotechnicians and just see what's new.
And you never get bored of fireworks. I know that sounds a daft question, but this is stressful.
No, you can't. It is quite stressful, but it's enjoyable as well. We've got a great team that work for us, so it's just so much fun.
Michelle, enjoy tonight.
Thank
Relaxing.
you. Lovely. Thank you very much.
So there you go, a bit of friendly competitiveness. They really are such a lovely bunch of people, but of course they do take it seriously. They all told me that although winning this is good for business, actually nowadays it's more about the kudos, of winning this event. And that's why they take it so seriously. I asked the event organizer, Jim, what it is the judges are looking for in a winning team.
I think the technical side of it is really great. I mean, it shows the skills of the people who do the work here, and this is an opportunity for them to show off what they can do. So that was why we started the competition in the first place, and it's still very much in our minds really in terms of the way we organise it. But in terms of the public, it comes down to the wow factor, and it's always the wow factor, and the bits they really like are the big bangs, so there are usually lots of those in the sky.
You definitely want lots of big bangs when it comes to fireworks, don't you? Now, of course, Jim told me this is the 26th year this city has hosted this event, but he told me, thankfully, there are no plans to change it. Plymouth Sounds Amphitheatre, making the perfect location for all those sights and sounds of the fireworks. It starts this evening at 9:30. You need to get here earlier than that, though, if you want to see it. I'll be back during the late news, bringing you some highlights, and, of course, we'll do your full roundup tomorrow evening.
Look forward to it, Claire. Thank you very much. Go and get a good spot to watch those fireworks later on. Now let's take a look at some of the other headlines now around the West Country this evening. And South West Water has said it is reviewing hosepipe ban restrictions across Devon and Cornwall, with July's rainfall at more than 170% above average. The Rodeford and Colliford reservoirs' water levels have risen higher than they were this time last year, sitting at just over half full. Well, the ban could be lifted later this year if conditions continue to improve.
Plans to build a solar farm the size of a large Cornish village have been refused following concerns over a loss of agricultural land. Aura Power Developments had hoped to create a site big enough to power 8,000 homes at Carnell Green near Camborne. The plans were refused by a Cornwall Council Planning Committee as it said the loss of 16 farming fields outweighed the benefits.
Now, a charity that houses parents of some of the sickest and most vulnerable children in the region says it is unable to raise enough money to pay for the service. Every year, babies born prematurely and often with severe complications are taken to Derriford Hospital in Plymouth.
Well, this can leave many newborns miles from home, which is where the Keep Me Close team step in. But now they say they urgently need more funding to continue keeping families together. Will Charlie reports.
Meet baby Francesca and her twin brother Nate. They're 4 months old, but in truth, they're both lucky to be alive. When Claire went into labour at just 24 weeks pregnant, she needed urgent specialist care and was rushed from Cornwall to Derriford Hospital by ambulance.
Up to the point that then I got really poorly, and I remember Ollie telling me that they said if they didn't act now, that he'd lose all three of us. So it was quite an emergency in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But luckily, both of them have
Still
pulled through, fighting it, and yeah.
Both twins were born with chronic lung disease as they were so premature. Nate also required weeks of treatment in Bristol for a perforated bowel, but doctors managed to bring the family back together in Plymouth's neonatal intensive care unit.
What we do is we welcome and offer care to the most sickest and preterm infants from primarily across Devon and Cornwall, but from across the whole network. And we can't do it without our parents. The parents are the most intrinsic part and most important part of that baby's care throughout their journey of any neonatal unit.
Francesca and Nate have spent more than 120 days in intensive care, watched on by Claire and Ollie. But it means the family has been around 40 miles from their home in Bude since April. They've been housed near the ward through Keep Me Close, a service funded entirely by donations, which the couple says has been crucial.
If you had to fathom in an hour and a half coming in, an hour and a half getting home, being safe enough to travel home, because you're just exhausted, aren't we? Like, I don't think we would have been able to have provided the care we have.
We wouldn't have been able to stay here as long, would we?
No.
We would have been here at I don't know, say 10, 11 o'clock and leaving again at 3, but now with the Keep Me Close, we can be here from 8, 9 o'clock in the morning right to 10, 11 o'clock at night.
The scheme is run by the Plymouth Hospital's charity and provides families with a room to call home just on the outskirts of the hospital. It's free of charge for as long as they need it. But the charity says recently it's simply not been able to raise enough money.
Since COVID hit, we've had a shortfall in our donations, so we're not hitting our target of £80,000 a year at the moment. We run our own fundraising events. We do balls, we do skydives, we do raffles, we do sponsored walks. So yeah, every penny that we get in, we're really grateful for.
One dad who once used the service has now led multiple fundraising drives, skydiving not once but twice after his son Stanley was born with sepsis.
It was crucial to us because with having a baby that ill, you just can't imagine being away from him just in case the worst did happen, because it was touch and go at times. So I don't know what we would have done if the service didn't happen here.
Claire and Ollie say they never knew about Keep Me Close until they needed it. But both are now determined to start fundraising so it can continue to support more parents like them in the future. Will Charlie, ITV News, Plymouth.
Well, it has just gone 6:10. You're watching ITV News here in the West Country with Victoria and David with you for this evening. We have plenty more still to come this programme. We'll have the very latest from the tall ships in Falmouth, and Kate will be here at the Met Office with the weather. It looks nice-ish, Kate.
Typically, as I've come outside, the sun's gone in, but whether you're all at sea for the tall ships or looking up to the skies for the fireworks, we need that good weather. I'll have all the details for you in just a few minutes.
Now, what do you look for when you're deciding where to eat? The menu or maybe online reviews? But what about the food hygiene rating?
Yes, in Wales and in Northern Ireland, it is a legal requirement to display it. But in England, it's just voluntary. Although now there are calls to make it mandatory, as Katie Ridley explains.
If you're someone who enjoys going out for a bite to eat, you've probably come across one of these, a food hygiene rating. They're usually displayed in the window at the front of a cafe, takeaway or restaurant to give clear information about a food business's hygiene standards. But how many people actually take notice of them? Customers here at the Shed in Taunton have mixed views.
To be honest, I'm not looking at the rating when I go into a restaurant. I'm just hoping they've done their own due diligence.
It is vitally important, because if I go somewhere which isn't 5-star and it proves not to be, then you're never going to go back there again.
Yes, I've looked at it, and also you check your cutlery and your everything, your cup, and make sure it is clean.
The food ratings scheme is run by the Food Standards Agency and local authorities.
Okay, Tim, I'll just finish putting my protective clothing on.
I joined this inspection of a cafe.
This is just literally cheeses.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the temperature.
After the inspection, owner Tim is given a 5-star rating, but it's up to him to decide if he wants to display it in the window.
Well, it kind of sets you aside from other businesses and gives the public confidence that you basically know what you're doing and that you're adhering to all of the HO regulations that need to be adhered to. But we need to make sure that the staff understand how to label food correctly, how to handle food correctly, how to understand allergens, which is very important in today's market.
Our inspector needs to see the business operating as it normally would, and the practices and the way that the business is operating, the way that it's keeping its documentation. So it's an unannounced inspection so that the public can have faith in the system.
There are 3 elements that determine a food hygiene rating: how hygienically the food is handled, how it's prepared, cooked and stored, the physical condition of the business, including cleanliness and ventilation, and how the business manages to keep food safe. The scores for each element are added up, with 0 meaning needs urgent improvement and 5 meaning very good. The average food hygiene rating in England and Wales is 4.51, but 21% of takeaways scored 3 or below, and almost 500 were rated 0.
Businesses with the lowest hygiene ratings are much more likely to cause food illness than businesses with the highest ratings. So getting businesses to take it seriously and improve their compliance is really important.
Tim is happy to show off his 5-star rating. But for food establishments without such a clean record, it might not be easy for customers to see what's beyond the menu. Katie Ridley, ITV News.
Now, these German Shepherd dogs are considered an aggressive breed by more than a third of people who've been questioned for a new survey. It is, though, a public image that the Guide Dogs charity is trying to change.
Well, 1 in 10 guide dogs are German Shepherds, and the charity needs more volunteers who are willing to raise and train the dogs, which can play a life-changing role for those living with sight loss. Kevin Ashford has this report.
Ulrich Heslop from Dorset has had his guide dog Ronnie for 4 years. It's the 5th guide dog he's had, and Ulrich says Ronnie plays a vital role in his life.
unaided, we can go shopping, we can go to the, to the post office, I can take the girls to and from school, I can go to the train station, literally anywhere. So I'm like the navigator, he's the pilot, I tell him where to go, he makes sure I don't hit anything, and together it's just amazing, and we're super quick.
Like Ronnie, around 1 in 10 guide dogs are German Shepherds, but as a breed, their public image isn't the best. In a recent survey, 27% of people questioned said they considered them as aggressive and best suited for security or police work. 38% said German Shepherds looked frightening compared to other breeds. And 22% admitted they weren't aware of the breed's positive attributes, such as kindness, loyalty and intelligence.
Good girl. Step, step.
German Shepherd Nettie is at the start of her training as a guide dog, and so far the signs are encouraging.
She's a gorgeous girl, she's very sweet, she's attentive, she's very driven and motivated, so she's keen to work, she enjoys it, she wants to do her best, and she's just wants to be told what to do next. She's what's next on the list. Over. Stand.
The Guide Dogs charity is keen to improve the public's image of German Shepherds so they can attract more volunteers willing to help in the training process of the breed.
We know that they can make fantastic guides, and for us it's very much about the sort of socialisation that is given to all dogs at very early stages. That's the reason why we're putting this call out. We need to support those volunteers that support guide dogs, but we also need more fosterers to support those dogs, those German Shepherds that we have in training, and of course those German Shepherds that need to promote our breeding programme.
Come on.
It's hoped that'll mean more dogs like Nettie being able to help those living with sight loss. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
Touch.
Oh, they're great dogs, and it's great to see them doing such important work.
Yes, yeah, very important, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, 2 visually impaired bowls players from Devon have been picked for the England team to go to the World Championships in Australia this month.
Yes, Alison Yearling and Stephen Hartley have got high hopes of coming home with a medal too. Well, Bob Cruz has been to meet them in practice.
Stephen Hartley from Tavistock started playing bowls about 5 years ago to give himself something to do after he lost his eyesight. He found a real talent for it, and now he's heading to the World Championships in Australia's Gold Coast with his bowls partner Alison Yearling, who's from Plymouth. It's the first time para bowls has been included in the main World Championship programme, and they can't wait to get out there.
Yeah, well done, Steve.
To be picked is just humbling. Playing for my country, playing abroad, playing for the World Championship title, it's just incredible. I owe so much to so many people. If I don't come with at least a medal, I will be disappointed. I'm going to play hard, but I'm also aware it's going to not last long. I want to take in every moment, soak it up, just really enjoy it, and hopefully I'll get picked again for the future and just improve and improve every time.
Visually impaired bowlers like Alison and Stephen use a string down the centre of the green to take their bearings, and a director at the other end tells them the relative positions of the woods and the jack so they can make adjustments for their next shot. Guide dog Kingsley gets a break and a lie down. Alison already has experience on the international stage. She won a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games last year. This, though, is her first World Championships.
Well bowled. Hit the jack.
Yeah, we make a really good team. I've known Stephen for quite a few years now. We both belong to the Visually Impaired Bowls Club initially, and then we've gone off. I've joined a sighted club on the Hoe, and Steve plays for a sighted club out in Tavistock. But yeah, we know each other very well, we're comfortable with each other, and we believe in each other, and I think we're going to do well together.
They play mostly against sighted people, which is really important because it means that they're challenged more. So I just think they're phenomenal, and I do think they've got really good chance.
The World Championships begin at the end of the month. The first match is on the 29th of August. Bob Cruz, ITV News, Tavistock.
Yeah, and good luck to Alison and Stephen.
Yeah, let's hope they get that medal.
Yes, they need to come back on and show us the medal as well. Now, next night, 14 young people from Cornwall with limited experience of sailing will be taking charge of a tall ship and racing it all the way to Spain.
Well, on the second day of the Tall Ships Festival in Falmouth, we've joined the new young crew of the Maybe, and Charlotte Gay is live in Falmouth now for us. So, Charlotte, this is quite a challenge, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But first of all, let me just talk you through a set of unusual circumstances. We've got sunshine, we've got school holidays, and we've got massive tall ships right in the middle of Falmouth Harbour here. That combination doesn't happen very often. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. This ship has got a lot of experienced Polish crew on board, but as you've been saying, I've been meeting some of the least experienced crew. They're on board the Maybe, and they're getting ready to set sail on Friday as well. These ships are majestic, but they're also blimmin' hard work. And 14 young people are about to find out what life is really like working and racing a tall ship.
You have to think about where your foot is. It's not really the sailing, although the sailing's a great adventure. It's the kids learning to develop with each other, learn to tolerate each other, etc., work together. And they find themselves, they find themselves as well.
17-year-old Ella from Lostwithiel got the bug for sailing with the help from the Roseland Youth Sailing Trust. How are you with tight, confined spaces? I'm pleasantly surprised I can even fit in this bed, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I'm actually not great with them, but I always say that I'm not claustrophobic on a boat because I can just go up on deck and there's the ocean. So if anything, you feel the opposite of claustrophobic because you're in such a wide open space.
It's a very calm day in Falmouth right now. I can feel the boat gently lulling. Is that something you just kind of get used to?
Yeah. If anything, that helps me get to sleep. It's like being in a hammock.
Unfortunately, sailing isn't cheap. A new mainsail alone will cost you £12,000. So many young people like Ella have been sponsored to take part in this year's race.
There are barriers to entry into sailing, and I know people like Roseland Youth Sailing Trust work really hard to let everyone have an opportunity to enter sailing. I'm always amazed that people who live in Cornwall still haven't got access to boats and the sea. So, this is a great way to do that. Making it equal and equity in terms of people allowing people access to this great sport and also may lead into a great career for your life is amazing.
The Maybe was built for racing around the world in 1929, but in recent years she's regularly stocked with supplies ready to train the next generation. And with the tall ships in Falmouth cancelled in 2021, Bea from Port Scatho thought she'd missed her chance to race the team to Spain, but now she's back on board.
I love being on the water, I love the teamwork, just the animals. I'm obsessed with dolphins and whales and anything like that. I just think the boat moves in such an incredible way when we get her sailing nice, so it's really nice.
Well, the Maybe took part in the first ever tall ships race in 1956, and in 2023 she has a new mission: to train the next generation of sailors. And with one day to go before they set sail, this is certainly going to be an adventure. Well, I am, of course, very excited to hear how they get on. But as you can see, it has been so busy here in Falmouth. And it's not just the people who are going out to sail, it's been celebrating the people who've been coming back, the crews who brought these ships in. They've been parading through the town, and there's been sing-song, there's been music, there's been prize giving. In fact, the Mexican team that came past me just before we came live was showing me that they got given a Monopoly Falmouth-based Monopoly set. I'm not sure how much they'll be playing that when they're busy doing their next round trip. It has, though, as I said, the last few days have been incredibly busy. The queues here have been really long. Yesterday, lots of people were turning up outside of their time slot and hoping to get a chance to get in. That was causing some problems. The organisers say if you come within your time slot and make sure you pre-book your ticket, then everything should run smoothly and much smoother as it has done today. So you've got multiple chance tomorrow and then another chance on Friday as well.
Great stuff. OK, Charlotte, thanks very much for that.
Well, let's stick with the nautical theme, well, this time in the sea. The first bluefin tuna has been caught in the southwest in a new fishing trial. Only 10 boats in the UK have been granted licences to catch tuna using a rod and line for the next 4 months. They're each allowed to catch 1 fish a day. The 9-foot-long tuna weighs nearly 200 kilos and sold for, get this, £2,000.
Well, it's brilliant. The season opened on Monday and the first fish was caught by a 5.7 metre trawler out of Plymouth. This is what you've seen is a fine specimen. We'll send it to London. We've got a great client that will do well with it. It will end up as sushi, it will end up as sashimi, it will end up in people's houses. So it will feed a lot of people.
That was a big fish.
It was a big fish,
Very
it
big
really
fish.
was.
I've got this image of someone trying to reel it in on a line, struggling, which probably isn't quite true. I suppose what we do need now is another big fish.
I was going to say what we actually need is some good fishing weather. So, Kate, is the weather good? What can we hope for?
I was wondering how you were going to join this all together. Well done, yes. It's a big fish, small pond, something. Anyway, yes, we do need good weather because there's lots going on at this time of year, isn't there? And camping and tall ships and fireworks, etc. There's a little blip on the horizon, I have to say, but whisper it quietly, there's word that it might be 30 degrees again next week. Something we haven't seen since the 7th of July. Now, as I said earlier, rather typically the moment I come outside the sun's gone behind a cloud, but to prove how lovely it's been today, our cameras have been at One All Beach today, Kingston in the South Hams, absolutely gorgeous there and perfect doggy paddling weather as well. Let's take a look at what's to come over the next few days.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV West Country weather.
So there's your headline. More sunshine tomorrow, but some heavy showers to watch out for on Friday. It is keeping warm, if a little hot at times, and also maybe a bit muggy over the weekend. Take a look at the pressure chart. High pressure still dominating things for the moment, but out towards the west you can see one area of low pressure, but actually that's not going to bother us. It's the one to the southwest that's going to move in on Friday and give us some wet and windy conditions. But as far as this evening and tonight is concerned, little late bits and pieces of late sunshine, then a dry, clear night, a little bit of mistiness in places, and temperatures pretty similar to last night at around 13 or 14 degrees, maybe getting a touch lower in the countryside. Now tomorrow morning as we wake up, I think that mist clearing pretty quickly. We're back to the sunshine once again. Bit of cloud bubbling up through the afternoon like it has done today, and the very tiny chance of a shower, but I think most places escaping and enjoying the sunshine. One thing to note though, the winds tomorrow picking up the latter part of the afternoon, quite breezy along the coast, particularly if you are thinking of heading out on the water. Temperature wise, a little bit higher than today at around 24 degrees. So the tide time's coming up next. Should you be thinking of making the most of the sunshine and heading to the coast, and it's looking sort of around breakfast time tomorrow and sort of 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. After that, as you see, Friday, pretty wet and windy, some heavy, blustery, thundery showers easing over the weekend. Still some showers about, but hopefully a bit more in the way of sunshine.
Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV West Country weather.
Kate, thank you very much. Well, that's it from the two of us. I'll have the late news for you at 10:30.
And after the break, the ITV News will continue with Lucrezia Millerini. But from the two of us for now, bye-bye.
Bye.